there's a lot of information on the internet about what causes anxiety, but from your experience, what is the root cause of anxiety that you want to tell people?
Yeah, so the root cause of anxiety can be a few different things. So the most common culprits are unprocessed emotion. So it's when we're feeling a feeling, and that feeling for some reason causes anxiety to be triggered. Usually because acknowledging or expressing that feeling before was a threat to us in some way, or a threat to connection or relationship. Maybe it's sadness, and we grew up in a home where sadness wasn't allowed to be expressed, that it was seen as weakness. So you're not allowed to name or express sadness. It creates disconnect or possibly even punishment. If you've heard the words, I'll give you something to cry about, or that kind of thought, it's not safe to feel those feelings or express those feelings. And so the nervous system is going to warn us of that potential danger in the form of anxiety that's there. So sometimes under anxiety is another feeling that at one point in time in our story wasn't safe to feel. And so that could be what's triggering anxiety. But it also could be any number of other things that have left us wounded. Wounds is our NIC or neuroscience informed Christian counseling word for like trauma, when we experience something that happens but should never have happened, and that leaves an impact on us. Well, our nervous system is trying to protect us from that happening again. And so if it senses in a relational context or our environment something that reminds it of the circumstances under which that previous wound was experienced, then it's going to sound the alarm to try to protect us from that happening again. It's saying, hey, danger, warning, we've seen this scenario before. This could be painful. This could be bad. Pay attention to what's going on. But sometimes it's also a gap. That is, we don't know how to manage a situation. Maybe it's something new that we've never encountered before, or something that we have encountered and didn't have the know-how to be able to navigate it. So there's a gap in our development, a gap in our experience, either relationally or practically in work or in some context of life that matters. And so as we approach a situation where we feel ill-equipped or uncertain that we have what it takes to navigate the situation, the alarm can sound and go, hey, danger, threat, you might need something, or the situation is going to call for something that you lack and don't have. And so the anxiety alarm can sound to alert us to that. So the key point here to understand is that anxiety always has a story. It's telling us something. It's a message, a signal from our nervous system. And we don't just want to placate it. We don't want to try to take the batteries out of the smoke alarm. We want to get curious about what it's alerting us to, because we can do something about that. If it's unprocessed emotion, we can learn how to process that emotion through to completion. If it is part of our story, a wound that we're carrying, we can have a healing experience that heals that, and through a process called memory reconsolidation, rewire our nervous system so that that alarm doesn't sound anymore. If there's a developmental gap, we can have new experiences that install the capacities that we need to be able to handle life in those situations well. And anxiety becomes the gateway through which we become aware of what we need. And when we have what we need, anxiety resolves at the root. We're not just managing the symptoms, we're actually addressing the reason why the alarm went off in the first place. Thanks for hanging out with me, watching this video. If you've got questions, leave them in the comments. We'll make some more videos. And until next time, I want you to know that I'm praying for you and that I'm cheering you on as you mature into true happiness.